The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Matt Godson, co-CEO with Momentum Events and Momentum Names, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you here this afternoon to this afternoon's webinar entitled LinkedIn for Lawyers. Before I introduce my co-presenter, Victoria Ipri, I'd like to run through just how today's session is going to go. We are going to be taping this session, so everybody that's on this call will receive from me within 24 hours an email which will enable you to access a link to the recording of today's session, so you don't need to take notes. In addition to which, Victoria has kindly agreed to make the slides available. So in the email that I'm going to send you tomorrow, there will also be instructions for how to download the PowerPoint presentations. So you don't need to send me a message to request the PowerPoint or the recording. You'll automatically receive that within 24 hours of the conclusion of this webinar. In addition, we are going to be taking Q&A at the end of this, the formal part of the presentation. Please do use the question panel, which is part of the GoToMeeting pane on the right-hand side of your screen to pose questions, and depending on time, we'll get through as many as we can. At this point, I would like to introduce you to Victoria Ipri. Victoria is somebody that's been known to me for about 3 years now. She has helped our organization optimize our LinkedIn presence and has been a resource to me as we have sought to extend Momentum Events and Momentum Names and become a kind of a presence online. She's a very kind of, she's a very accomplished trainer. There's nothing really that she doesn't know about LinkedIn, and she's kind of the first person that we turn to when we have challenges or when we're looking to do something online. So Victoria, I'd like to introduce you for the commencement of this presentation.
Well, thank you so much, Matt. You're making me blush with that introduction, but I appreciate it. And hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here to share this really important information about navigating LinkedIn more effectively. Matt, you can go to the next slide.
Okay, great.
Great. So any discussion of marketing for attorneys has to include LinkedIn, the world's largest professional networking platform, as you probably know, and one of the only online marketing tools that it seems lawyers are willing to embrace. But networking isn't just about promoting yourself. It's about connecting with and promoting others. And while LinkedIn offers several premium or paid account options, even the free version provides some great features and benefits, whether you're employed by a firm or run your own firm. So with so many valuable features, you've probably wondered how you can get the most out of the time that you spend on LinkedIn, but in the shortest amount of time, given that you have a business to run and other daily responsibilities. So this is really my goal today, to demonstrate to you and discuss with you some of LinkedIn's best features so you can get better ROI on your time spent. And by the way, in LinkedIn terms, ROI stands for return on influence, because on LinkedIn, that's what it's all about, is building your influence. Next slide. When prospects search for you and find you on their own, this enhances your credibility. You've probably experienced this yourself during your own searches. When you find what you're looking for, you say, oh, there he is, and look, he's right there at the top of the page. So if you don't mind if I can lay just a tiny bit of buyer psychology on you, this is a natural reaction, especially during search. And somewhere in your brain subconsciously, you feel smart because you went to look for something and you actually found it. And this is exactly what happens when people are able to easily discover you online, let's say through a Google search. But once you've been found, you don't want to disappoint your visitor with a poorly crafted profile, because this is organic traffic that you're getting. In other words, you haven't paid anything to get that prospect through your door, so to speak, and getting that organic traffic in this way is a benefit that is really tough to buy with ad dollars. Google gives LinkedIn very high domain authority. So when someone searches for you through a Google search or through another search engine, your LinkedIn profile will be one of the first items to show up in that search that they're doing. And hopefully when they see that, they'll say, oh, look, there he is, or there she is, and you'll click on that, and they'll come to LinkedIn to find out more about you. So if your purpose is to get hired, then perhaps you want to attract attention from law firm managers or hiring directors, maybe recruiters or human resource departments. If you want to build your client base, you probably want your profile to attract small business owners or perhaps in-house counsel. Identifying your potential audience and thinking about their wants and needs, the search terms that they use to find people like you, the kinds of content that might interest them, and the people they want to connect with is what's going to help you use LinkedIn more strategically and more effectively. Like any other business objective, using LinkedIn well requires a plan, and that plan is built around your short and long-term goals. So once you figure out what these goals are in terms of your use of LinkedIn, then you can better see your path, what kind of information you want to include on your profile, who you think you'd like to connect with, or who you'd like to connect with that they're already connected with, which we'll talk about in a moment, what kinds of information you want to share, which groups you want to join, and how you regulate your account settings. And there's something else to think about, too. On LinkedIn, you're actually working within two very different channels. First, there are the bots or software applications, and they work within the structure of LinkedIn's algorithm to gather content and other important information about members, yourself, and people you're connected to. At the end of the day, LinkedIn is mainly a giant search engine. So to please the bots, you've got to follow some of the rules related to LinkedIn's algorithm, and this is where mistakes can sneak in. Overall, the bots are really searching for a theme that helps to define who you are professionally. Digitally speaking, this theme is held together with keywords. So when the right keywords are selected and used throughout your headline, your summary, your career experience, in particular, those three sections, this makes the bots real happy, and that improves your overall rank among your peers, which in turn helps you to get found more often and more easily for the services that you're offering. So
I think we have,
go ahead.
Yeah, some common mistakes on here as well, Victoria. So I'd love to know kind of which ones of these are like the most important, which one of these, you know, and the impact of each one of these, I suppose, on your LinkedIn visibility.
Definitely. So I already mentioned that there are two different channels, and we talked about the bots. Well, interestingly, some of the same things that make the bots happy also work for humans. Even if you never participate in groups or never reach out to other members, the fact is that people search using keywords. I'm sure you do this yourself as well online. And more often we use long-tail keywords, meaning that we're typing in several words together to find what we want rather than just one main word. So your best keywords are words that describe your services and are the words that another person or other people would most commonly type in to find someone like you or to find a legal firm that offers the services that you offer. So you might, in the headline of your profile, which we'll be looking at in a moment, you might use the word attorney. That's what you are. It's certainly direct. But it doesn't really help your viewer to quickly know much more about you. What kind of attorney are you? Where do you practice? What types of clients do you serve? These are things people want to know. So if you select just 2 or 3 major keywords and focus on using these throughout your profile, it will increase your chance of ranking for those phrases. And this practice is what is meant by the term profile optimization. So therefore, whether someone's looking for you in a Google search or through LinkedIn search, the part of your profile they'll most often see is the top portion of your profile. Matt, I wanted to show them your, give them a shot at looking at your profile here so I can show them exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, can I make you the presenter? Is that okay?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. So if you accept and then show your screen.
Yeah, got it. So here we see Matt's lovely profile, and we'll see that the first part that pops out, like on all profiles, is his really nice background picture, his own personal picture, his name, and his title, headline. This is the headline portion. This is the part people see when they're searching for you from another location, and it's driving them to your profile on LinkedIn. It's really important to make sure this portion of your profile is very complete, very accurate, very descriptive. So Matt, why don't you tell us for a little bit how you made the decisions to use this kind of a background image, this kind of phrasing for your headline? How did you choose your personal picture, things like that?
Okay, thanks. Well, I mean, I think fairly obviously I'm trying to shamelessly promote myself as the CEO and kind of owner of Momentum. My objective, one of my big, I mean, it's no secret, but, one of my objectives here is to increase the visibility of my company. I chose a picture at the time myself, my business partner, rang the bell on the NASDAQ.
Right.
My headshot was a professional headshot that was done at an LMA annual conference actually some time ago. And in terms of the tagline of my headline, which is something you helped me with, if you recall, this was something, I had a choice to talk about kind of myself. What I really wanted to do was, I suppose, indicate, our approach towards eventing, as well as the type of business that we were engaged in, rather than just saying, I am the CEO of a company that does events. I wanted to use it for a little bit of promotion. So that's that's why I kind of chose to do it this way.
Okay. That all makes sense, and I just want to mention to everyone that this background image, hopefully you can see my mouse moving. Of course, there are certain sizes that you need to use and so forth, but you can do just about anything with editing this background to get it the way you want it. People who are authors of books, business owners like Matt and myself, just about everyone is using these beautiful background images, so you can have it designed by a graphic designer, or if you're good at it, you can do it yourself, or if you have an image that will stand up to being stretched to this size, you can really make it nice. So good job there, Matt.
Thank you very much. Okay, move on. Let's move off my let's move off my profile if we can. That would be great.
Okay. So now let's talk a little bit about the process of connecting with other people on LinkedIn. No doubt you've heard about the importance of personalizing your invitations when you're reaching out to other members and asking them to join your network. So all across the LinkedIn platform, when you click on a blue Connect button, the system sends an automatic invitation containing standardized wording. And that wording, as you've probably seen, is, I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn.
Can you show that?
Yeah. Let's look at an example. I'll show you what that looks like. Go to my profile. And you can do this for anyone, unless they have this feature. Sometimes they can turn this feature off. But here we'll see this people you may know feature. Let's try that. So let's say I want to connect with this gentleman, Jason. Clearly we're not connected because it's asking me if I'd like to connect. If I click this blue Connect button, the automatic invitation will go out to Jason. But if Jason's very valuable to me as a connection, I don't want to do that. So there's only one way to avoid the automatic message going out, and that is when you connect with someone, always go to that person's profile page. When you go to the profile page and you click on this blue Connect button here, you get this box. In most cases, there are some variations. In most cases, you'll get this box. The nice thing about this is it gives you a lot more room to write a personalized note, and it allows you to choose how you know the person. There used to be an option here to choose that you knew them through groups. For some unknown reason, that's been removed. So if you don't know them well, but let's say you met them at a trade show and you want to reach out to them, just choose the friends option. If you choose other, or I don't know. If you choose other, you're going to be asked for the email address. If you choose I don't know and you try to send a message, it's going to bounce back out and you'll get a notice that they can't send a message because you don't know this person. So what you want to do is just delete this information here and type your personalized note in there, because personalization increases the chance for your invitation to be accepted. It also helps you to stand out and to be more memorable in the mind of the recipient. Really all you need is just a few sentences about how you met or why you should connect, what maybe you have in common or what you can do for that person, whatever the message might be. Put something personal. And do remember to sign it. Some people feel because it's going through the system from one profile to another, they don't need to sign the note, but I don't think too many of us want to receive a note that's supposed to be personalized but isn't signed. So that's pretty much how that connections process works, basically. In terms of status updates are the posts you see on your home page. Everybody has these. Here we are on the home page. This top portion here is news that comes from their feature called Pulse. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the individual posts that people put up, which are generally, in whatever, one way or another, self-promotional. These are tweet-sized messages that you share with your network. And they're shared right here in the box where it says Share an Update. So some of your updates can be about you and your practice. Others should focus on your audience. The 80-20 rule is a good one to follow. Let's say 20% of your posts are about you and your firm, and 80% are more geared towards your audience, their concerns, and their particular interests. So let's say you want to highlight your expertise in a certain area of the law. Maybe you want to share a thought and a link to an article or a blog post that you've written, or you want to announce that you're doing the keynote at an event. On the other hand, let's say you want to focus on your audience's needs. Maybe share a thought-provoking question, maybe a link to an industry piece that's centered on a legal issue. Both kinds of status updates will increase and build your credibility, but they do so kind of in different ways. It's real simple to do if you've never done it. It's not something to really be afraid of, and there are tons of ways to customize who gets to see what you're posting. But for example, you could say something like, this would be a very personally promotional kind of a, check out my website. Not really a great thing to say to people, but just for demonstration purposes. You type your post in here, whatever you want to say, and then you add the link that you want to direct people to. When you add the link, the system will pull a picture, which you can't really control, but it'll pull a picture from the website or the online property that you're linking to, and it'll place it below what you're saying. So for example, this person, he personally wrote radio is everywhere. He added a link, and the link pulled this information right here. Once you add the link in here and LinkedIn pulls this information, you can take the link out of what you're personally writing at the top so it looks a little bit cleaner.
One of the other things I notice actually that we use fairly often is that you can now actually attach a document to your status update as well, which would be fantastic.
Right.
I know many of you have white papers that your firms publish on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. And so this is a fantastic opportunity for your practice areas, for your lead partners to actually be attaching those documents, which is something that a lot of attorneys don't know about, and a lot of people generally don't know that you can actually attach a document in these in these areas here, as well as publish to Twitter. If you've got your LinkedIn account associated with Twitter, you can actually kind of tweet your status update as well.
That's right, and you attach items, but logically using this paperclip icon right here. So if I were to click on this after I shared my update, it would ask me to pull something from my documents to share. Or you can also share other kinds of items, but generally it's something you have personally that you want to share, a PDF, something you've written, a report, something like that.
Exactly.
So
I know that. Yeah, so for a lot of you struggling to encourage your attorneys and partners to really use LinkedIn as a business development tool, this is a feature that is well worth highlighting because it's a pretty easy way for them to get their thought leadership out into cyberspace and into their into their newsfeed.
Right, and your entire network of First Connections sees what goes on the homepage unless you've added some restrictions, which gets done on the account page, and we may get to that later. But in general, your First Connections network will see what you've posted. You do have some options here. Post just to your First Connections, post to your entire network, which is first, second, and third level connections, or your first, second, and third level, and Twitter if you have a Twitter account. So there's a potential for a lot of exposure here.
I know many people don't know what that little pencil is as well, and I know that you're going to be talking about that,
right.
some of the advanced information you're going to give us in a moment, right?
Yes. Well, the pencil icon indicates that you have publishing privileges on LinkedIn's new publishing platform, and we are going to talk about that in just a minute. I also wanted to point out this All Updates button, which a lot of people miss. It's a way to control the information on the page. There's lots of good things in here, and you can take your time to look through. But most importantly, if you're looking to see a list of your updates going back about a month or so, you can click on this Your Updates button here, and it's going to show everything on the page that you've been posting over time. So it's a quick rundown of your most recent posts. And maybe even the most, maybe even the most important, if you don't want to see another member's posts, like, you know, today people post all kinds of stuff on the homepage, and you might say, man, I really don't want to see this anymore. You can just click right here on the Hide button. It's in the corner of every post. So if you click it, it says you'll no longer receive member updates from this member. So the person will be removed from posting to your homepage feed, and they won't be removed as a connection, but you won't see their posts. So if someone's bugging you, that's how you do that. So, really, the ability to reach people you wouldn't otherwise have access to is one of the main reasons why LinkedIn works and is so popular. And specifically, group participation allows you to show off your expertise around a specific subject and build relationships with people that you consider valuable. So think of LinkedIn groups like as virtual meeting rooms, where you have great opportunity to share your expertise, participate in conversations with other people, and serve as a reliable source of information, which is the essence of thought leadership. Matt's going to be sharing some of his group tactics with us because he's done an amazing job in building his groups. So Matt, I'm going to turn it back to you.
Oh, okay, great. So I'm going to take the presentation back and show my screen. Okay, and I'm going to come onto here. Okay, so actually I want to talk about a couple of things. So firstly, let's talk about groups. So groups for us as event organizers is really important, but I think there's some interesting lessons to be learned from organizations, law firms looking to really identify and place themselves at the heart of the conversation as it pertains to thought leadership in a particular practice area. So I think that what's interesting about some of the ways that we have worked is that we have created and popularized groups in order to highlight many of the event areas that we work in. So you can see on your screen right now we do events on anti-corruption, we do events on economic sanctions, ERISA. But I'm not here to talk about our events. What I'm talking about is how we use groups in order to place ourselves at the heart of the conversation, which is something that a lot of your attorneys, if you're a law firm marketer, as well as you yourself, if you're a practice group leader, are looking to do. So I'm going to just pick one kind of at random here. Let's take ERISA experts, for example. So this is a group that we created in order to support an event portfolio. And what we have here, as you can see, we have about 1,580 members. What's fantastic about us owning this group is that we really get to control this conversation. We also get to take the pulse of the industry. We have an opportunity to engage with the members. We obviously get to demonstrate thought leadership. We get to keep competitors out. And we actually have a lot of clients, a lot of law firm clients that ask us to create similar groups for them so that they can be at the heart of the conversation. And, you know, for law firm marketers, this is certainly like a really big win. If you've got a lead partner who has a particular area of expertise in an area, in a practice area, very often those marketers are asked, you know, they're shown a LinkedIn group belonging to a competitor and saying, like, well, why don't we have a group like this? Why has somebody else got that ERISA group? Why has somebody else got that, you know, IP litigation group? Why are people flocking to our competitors group? And there's a little bit of an art, actually, to growing a group, but it's really, really valuable. So I just want to kind of quickly take you through some of the methodology that we use to grow a group, let's say, to this size when we don't have, obviously we're not ERISA experts, we're event people, so we don't even have that thought leadership that we can rely on. So kind of step one is to not start a group. The person, your thought leader or your marketer, should join as many related groups as possible. So if you have a particular practice area you're looking to build, find out where those prospects are and join the same LinkedIn groups as them, and you can see the groups that they belong to on their profile. Only after you've done that should you set up your own group. When you set up a group, you have an opportunity to choose a logo and a name for that group. Don't choose your firm's logo for that group. You want your group to be agnostic. You want it to be independent. You want to choose a name for that group that is aspirational, not one that reflects yourself or your firm. You have to choose something that people want to be associated with because it appears as a badge on their profile. So after a lot of experimentation, you could see, actually, if we go back to our LinkedIn groups, you can see that a lot of them are called experts, so 337 litigation experts, ITAR experts. And I hope that you can understand that you know, people in their various industries would naturally be inclined to join a group with this name. It plays to people's ego. If you are an ITAR practitioner, you would like to have you should be a member of the ITAR experts group. Similarly for all of these other groups. So that's why we call it experts after quite a lot of experimentation. The next thing that people need to do is not launch it empty. So you need to, and your practice area needs to populate this new group that you've created with a few articles. You need to get your fellow practice group to become members of that group, and you need some friendlies to join. You need about 10 or 12 articles, as well as about 10 to 15 or so members before you launch, because most people make the mistake of setting up a group and then just hoping it's going to grow, hoping it's going to be found, and hoping it's going to grow. And that's when you look at your groups, and many of you have this situation where you have a group, you set it up, and then it sits there forever with like 10 or 15 members. And you're scratching your heads wondering, well, why hasn't this taken off? You need to treat it as an event, you need to treat it as a campaign, you need to really kind of have a launch strategy for your LinkedIn group. So you need to populate it with content, you need to populate it with a few friendly people, and it's only then that you start inviting people. And you invite people in two ways. Firstly, you need to, you can upload to the group a CSV file containing contacts. So if you have a mailing list, if you have a list of contacts, you can upload them all in one chunk and invite them, send a CAN message asking them to join your group. That's a great way of populating a group with getting a decent chunk of people joining the group. Secondly, and this is really the key, and this is why you joined those related groups earlier, you're going to undertake a one-to-one messaging campaign. The one-to-one messaging is crucial as the final step. We've got a template that we've tailored to each group that we're trying to populate, and we use our membership of those related groups to message other individuals and invite them to not only connect with us, but also to join our new group. And we do that intensively over a very few days, over a short period of time, because that in turn creates the appearance of critical mass in our new groups. And at that point, we're going to continue posting and nurturing, but the group will get a life of its own, with people joining this group posting. If they see it's a vibrant group with a lot of postings, that's when people will post themselves. Nobody wants to be the first person at a party. Nobody wants to be the only person having a conversation at a party. You need to work to get that party started. There is one caveat with LinkedIn groups, which I should mention, which is the group owner has complete control over the community. So internally, you need to consider very, very carefully who is the owner of the group within your firms. Because let's say you have a junior member of staff set it up, it takes off, you have 10,000 people in there, and then that member of staff leaves. You're going to have a headache getting control of that group back. Let's say it's a practice group leader that sets up that group for a key practice area, and they get poached by a rival firm. Does that group go with them? Do you have IP? Does your firm have IP rights in that group? I'm no attorney. There are plenty of attorneys on this call, but this is an important thing for you to consider because it happens more often than you would think with people leaving firms and taking those groups and taking that LinkedIn, that valuable asset away with them. Once you have a group, of course, you can keep that conversation going. You can use it for promotional purposes. Again, LinkedIn gives you an opportunity to message group members once a week. And also, what you can also do is if you're feeling very, very savvy, you can link to that group and also link to your profile through a bespoke URL. So, for example, I'll just show you, for example, I actually just linked this to my profile rather than to my group, but you can see that now there are new kind of .attorney and .lawyer domain names. And what you can do as a way of promoting yourself, if you're going to use one of these new attorney or .lawyer domain names and you don't have a website that you want to send it to you, or you don't want to send it to your firm's website, or your firm's website isn't up to scratch, what you can do is you can use this new URL and you can send it, you can have it directly to your LinkedIn profile. So if you want to, in this example here, farmer attorney, if you want to position yourself as the farmer attorney or the anti-corruption attorney or whatever your practice area is, you can now go ahead, you can buy these domain names, and you can just very easily direct them to your LinkedIn profile as a great way of you kind of maintaining your expertise and raising your brand profile in that particular sector. Victoria, back to you.
Okay, do you want to give me control of the screen again?
I would love to give you control, absolutely. There we go.
Okay, wonderful.
You want to show your screen again? Yeah, perfect.
Yes, I'm trying to get back. I'm sorry.
No
I
problem.
can't seem to get back to the screen we were at.
Which screen do you want?
The one we were on, I believe it was slide 5. I don't know why it won't let me do that.
I can see the slideshow on your screen.
You can. I can't see it.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, as long as everyone else can see it.
Well, I can just see the initial slide without headshots on it.
Right. So are we at slide 5 then still?
No, we're not.
Okay.
There you go. You seem to be able to.
Why don't you go ahead and go back to your own?
All right. I tell you what. I'll take the
so everyone can
again
see the right slide because I don't want to confuse the issue here.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. So
thank you, by the way, for talking about what you've done with groups. I think it's really amazing what you've accomplished. So that's fantastic.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah.
So are we here beyond the profile, the company page?
We certainly can be. Do you know what slide number that is? I'm so sorry. Since I can't see, I've lost track.
No, I don't have the slide numbers on there.
Okay. Why don't we just go back one to the 5 mistakes.
Okay.
There you go. So where we were before we got into the group, talking about the groups, I wanted to mention that we will be talking about the company page a little bit. The main purpose of the company page is to drive brand awareness, and that's a large part of what we're talking about today. So we'll be getting into that in a moment if that interests you, and I'm sure it does. The publishing platform, as we mentioned earlier, is one of the newer offerings from LinkedIn, and this offers a perfect opportunity to share relevant stories with your target audience and engage them with your brand. Storytelling posts, as you may know, tend to attract higher social sharing than standard blog posts. So if you don't have a blog for yourself or your firm, the publishing platform is a great way to get started sharing high-quality content with your audience. If you do have a blog, then you can repurpose your posts on the publishing platform, exposing you and your firm to new audiences. So it's a really powerful opportunity to differentiate your brand and reinforce it and really get up close with potential clients. And now we can move to the next slide. Okay, so the profile is the hub of all your LinkedIn activity. It's like a first impression. Not only does the profile house really vital information about you professionally, but it's a great catalyst to drive visitors to engage more deeply with you, to visit your website or other online properties, sign up for your newsletter, and so forth. One thing the LinkedIn profile is not is your resume, because your resume is your resume. So your LinkedIn profile really is a synopsis of your talents and achievements. Even though the profile template that LinkedIn provides somewhat mimics the typical resume, you don't need to tell your entire career story on your profile, because that's what the resume is for. What you do need to do is think like a marketer and use available tools and features that are already in place to bring life to your profile beyond just cutting and pasting pieces of your resume into it. And I just want to interject here that if everyone who's on the call could mute the microphone, there's a little microphone icon up at the top of the page there. If you could mute that, then we won't be able to hear some of the background noise. Great. Now, on the profile is something called the Rich Media feature, and this is a great way to upload or link to content that you own. You can use slide presentations or PDF documents or even link to videos to help engage your audience and make your profile more than just words. So we're going to look at one profile of an attorney who's doing a good job using Rich Media. And I hope I'm going to find him this way. Let's see. He may have his name backwards. There he is. Okay. So Mr. Lentz has done a fantastic job with creating a nice background image here. He's got a little design around his picture, which looks great. And in terms of Rich Media, here's what that looks like, and here's what he's done. So you see he's added this to his profile. I'm sure it's a video or some kind of introduction to the company. He's got various other videos and information that he's shared here. So when a person comes to his profile, they really feel they're getting a sense of who this person is because they can see these various bits and pieces about them. And you can do the same thing. Just a way to make your profile more interesting. Not every section of the profile allows for adding this Rich Media. 3 or 4 of them do. You would know whether or not you can when you go to your profile and then you go to the Edit button, which is right here. And then you'll see this little box with the plus sign in the corner. And that tells you you can add a link or upload a file. So if you see that little symbol next to the heading of that section of the profile, then you can go ahead and do one of those things and make it more interesting. The other thing that's important to do when you're building your profile is to not just cut and paste from a resume, but to use these little topics over here to add other kinds of information about you. So languages that you speak, publications you've contributed to, associations that you belong to, charities that you support. They really help to round you out, not just as a qualified attorney, but as a person. And let's face it, we're all people here, and we want to connect with real people. So don't forget to use these options that are right in here. And of course, as I said, you have to go to edit mode to do that. And again, I cannot get back to the screen. Sorry, I'm really sorry, everyone. Technical difficulties.
Do you want me to go back to the PowerPoint, or do you want to?
Well, I guess I really wanted to. Since I'm here, I guess I'll move on to something else I wanted to discuss, and that is we said we would talk about the company pages again, and you can move to slide 6, Matt, so that we'll be on the right slide about the company page. But in the meantime,
Okay.
I'll show everyone in here. Once your profile is optimized, and that means, as we've been talking about, adding the right keywords, adding a nice summary that tells people who you are and isn't just cut and pasted from your resume, adding all your experience in, having your recommendations pop up in the right places, all the things that are done to make profile look great. Then you may want to consider development of a company page. You find company pages, you can see what your competitors are doing or other people in the industry by going up here to this main search bar, clicking on this drop-down button, and selecting companies. So the company pages do require a separate growth strategy, so that means possibly a little additional bandwidth to manage properly, but they're really pretty easy to do. So let's look at what a well-done company page in the legal arena looks like. So we're just going to type the name of the firm here. Here's the company page. And here's what they've done. You'll see they have their logo up here in the corner. Obviously the name of the firm, nice number of followers. They've added a lovely banner here that talks about the company. They have some information here explaining who they are and what they do. And then you have these fields to fill in so you can explain a little bit more about the company. Well, this is all standard on a company page. Everyone who has a company page gets to put this information in. You'll also see over here on the right that all of this firm's employees who are active or have LinkedIn profiles are listed here, 1,733. So you can literally click on this number here and see all of those people, which can be fantastic for drilling deeper into specific firms. Or if you're working with, say, small business owners and they have a company page, then you can do the same thing. But what they're doing that's really great is they're posting these status updates. So we talked about status updates on the home page. They come from your profile. These are status updates that are related to the company and things that are happening in the company. So I want to mention that these followers here that are following the page are not necessarily first connections of these 1,733 people. They can just be followers of the company page without literally connecting with anyone from the firm. So it's important to know that there are sort of two different groups that you're speaking to. They've got these status updates here. We can see their last one was shared 2 hours ago, so we know that the page is being kept fresh, and they're posting things that are of interest to their audience of people who are following them, not just about personal things about their lawyers. So there are really two basic strategies for growing followers on your company page. And we could talk about growing followers for just an hour, but the two strategies are these. The first is the posting of these status updates through the company page, which are aimed at engaging your followers. You don't want to talk about yourself or your personal interests, but you want to talk about industry news, views, and insights related to the company or the legal arena that you work in specifically. You want to watch the page for comments and respond to these because they can be lead generators. People ask questions, they make comments, they like the page, they share the page. These are all things that you want to follow. Secondly, you want to share the link to your company page in as many places as possible. In your email signature, in your LinkedIn emails when it's possible, or other LinkedIn communications. In groups, when you leave post a discussion in a group, you can add the link to your company page. So any place where you communicate with others related to LinkedIn, you want to share with them the link to your company page because people can't follow the page if they don't know that it exists. Company pages, though, don't generally have so-called vanity links. So the link, this link up here, which we're not going to open the whole thing, but it tends to get long. The easiest way to share that link with others is to get some HTML code off of a page that LinkedIn has created that provides the HTML code for creating these Follow Us buttons. So I won't be able to show you now, but if you want to see that URL and you want the HTML code to create a Follow Us button that you can put in your email for certain types of email servers, or on your website or on your blog. I'll be happy to share that page with you so you can have that benefit. And once your company page is up and running, you then have the opportunity to begin advertising if that's something that interests you. LinkedIn ads work really well, and there are numerous ad variations which exist to suit every budget and target audience. So many companies begin pretty simply with what are called sponsored updates. We're going to go back to the home page to see what these look like, and you may have noticed them yourself on the home page. When you're looking through your updates, you'll see this word here, sponsored, and that means that even though this looks like a simple post that someone from US Bank posted, they've actually paid to have this information fall into the thread on the home page. So when you click on it, you're really clicking on an ad. These sponsored updates, because they look so natural on the page, they can really help to deepen your branding efforts, engage your followers, drive traffic to your website, and so forth. And I shared with Matt not too long ago a really good case study on sponsored updates, showing exactly what a company did to place their sponsored updates, how much they paid when they bid on their keywords, and all the inside information of how they did it successfully. And I'm happy to share that with you. Just drop me an email and ask me for it, and I'll send you the link. Okay, let's see where we are. This is ridiculously difficult because I don't know. Here we are. Okay.
That's perfect. Great. Well done.
Yes. Okay. I think we are at the groups page. Now, Matt's already explained to us how his company has worked with groups to do some of the amazing things that they've done. But I also wanted to make these points about finding and joining the right groups. There are, I think, over 1 million LinkedIn groups now. It can be a little daunting to find the ones that are the best for you. But groups really are a place for like-minded professionals to get together and hang out and share content and get advice, and most importantly, for you to establish yourself as an industry expert. So I did a quick check, and out of those more than 1 million LinkedIn groups, there's more than 16,000 groups just related to the legal arena. But for attorneys, the real LinkedIn juice is found in group participation. Yes, it's important to post discussions, but more importantly, sharing what other people are posting, liking what they're posting, and commenting on their discussions can not only help drive you to get this badge that says top contributor in groups, which is a badge of credibility, but it also drives high visibility for you because social media is based on the like, know, trust factor. And when people, it's almost impossible to really get to know someone just from meeting them online. But when they see your face over and over, they see your name, they see your headline from your profile, and it is in front of them all the time, every day, or frequently, you start to feel like they know you. And then when you start sharing your thoughts with other people and appreciating what they've shared by liking and commenting, they start to feel like, oh, this person is very friendly towards me. And this is really, in terms of social media, this is really how engagement gets done and how warm leads are created. The other great thing about groups is they're a wonderful way to bypass LinkedIn's built-in connection requirements, where it sometimes says you have to have an email to connect with someone, because by virtue of the fact that you share group membership, you can connect with anybody who's in a group that you're in. So not only is that good for you to connect with people you want to, that are valuable to you, that you want to connect with, but it also opens the door for those people to connect with you as well. So if you have someone that you're really interested in connecting with, you can't get through to them on LinkedIn, you don't want to pay for an email, look at the groups that person belongs to, which you can see at the bottom of everyone's profile, and try to join one of the groups that person is in. And because you're in the group together, you can message that person. So now that we know the basics of profile building and company page creation and group participation, I want to take a look at some of the new tools, like the publishing platform, that LinkedIn has put in place for us. So the publishing platform, let's go look at that. remember we talked about going to this pencil icon here. So when you publish a post on LinkedIn, your original content gets shared on your profile, it gets shared across your network, and it could potentially even reach all 300 million plus members of the site in some cases if it gets picked up and shared in Pulse. As we talked about, members who are not among your first connections can follow you if they like to without connecting with you. And you can also enhance your post with branded images and screenshots and videos and SlideShare presentations. Let's just click on this and see what it looks like. Okay, so if I wanted to post on the publishing platform, this is what the template looks like. If you've ever used WordPress, it's very similar to that. Publishing has been proven to drive profile views, which is something we're all trying to get, and of course to build your influence across your network because people are hungry for really relevant, accurate information to share. So this is where you do it. You would create some kind of a branded image that fits in with this size, and that would be posted here. And you would write your headline, so it just goes right in. And then you either copy and paste from Word or start typing in the post that you want to share with everyone, and you have your formatting tools here. Within the body of this, you can use this camera icon to add images. As we mentioned, whether they're still images or stock photos or screenshots or pieces of video, can all go here. And then when it's done, you just click the Publish button. Well, you can save it first and then click the Publish button. And it shows up first on your profile in this area right here. So when someone comes to your profile, they can see all the posts that you've published. They can click on this button, and they get a page with all the information, all the various posts that you've provided. And they can see activity and posts and number of followers and so forth. So if you, as I mentioned earlier, if you have a blog and you want to repurpose your content here, that's great. If you don't, it's an awesome way to get started on in the blogosphere, or whatever the actual word is, and start putting some content out there that will help to entice people and improve your thought leadership.
I think that's fantastic. I mean, I'm pretty sure that like almost everybody on this call right now is thinking to themselves, that's fantastic. I have content that I have spent a lot of time and effort generating in the past, and this would be a great way for me to kind of extend the life of that investment online to attract followers and attract influence or increase influence. That's something I've never actually seen that before today. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Look at what I have in my archives that can be repurposed.
Oh my gosh, we all have so much content to share. And you could even, if you weren't really sure what to share, you could share something someone else has written, but just put your own spin on it and give your own opinion on it. But it's sort of the shortcut to creating some blog content and at least getting started, getting familiar with how to get this stuff published and responding to people who leave comments and all that if you're really new to the whole blogging thing. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, conference presentations as well. I'm thinking, if you've presented at a conference, you may well have kind of learnings from that conference, or if you've attended something and you've made some notes, that would also be a great thing for you to potentially share, turn into a
sure. Yeah. What you don't want to do on the publishing platform is just put up a quick opinion on something, 2-3 lines. LinkedIn is down today. It's really acting funny, and man, this platform's driving me crazy. Believe it or not, people do post that. So either they don't understand how the platform works, or they're trying to stir up some viral attention for their own opinions. But that's not what it's for. It's really for sharing relevant content.
Understood. I am conscious of the time that we have remaining. So
yes, and we do have some more things to go over, and I really don't think we're going to get to all of them, unfortunately.
Okay, well that's fine. Why don't we kind of, in the time remaining, I'm conscious that I don't want to go over for everybody. We can certainly kind of schedule a second part to this session.
Sure.
Do you want to, with the 3 minutes we have left, do you want to kind of cover? What do you want to cover?
Yes, I want to talk just for a minute about some of the security features that LinkedIn offers. And I know it's a bit of a dry topic, but I think it's very important when you're working on social media. Who does not want to be secure when they're working in social media? So one of the brand new features that LinkedIn offers is a request for an archive of your data, which sounds terribly boring, but it's really, really interesting. So you'll find the link to make this request on your account page. And just let me show you briefly, if you don't know where your account page is, go right up here to your tiny picture. Don't go to account. That's not it, because that's how LinkedIn does things. And go down here to privacy and settings and click on manage. And that'll take you into your account page. You probably have to put your password in once again. It usually goes in automatically. Uh-oh. All right, you'll notice there are numerous tabs here for various things. If you click on the Account tab, you'll see Request an Archive of your data. And simply what you do is click the Download button, and in 72 hours, LinkedIn will send you a compilation of every single thing that you've done on the platform over a certain period of time. And I'm sorry, I don't know what that period of time is, but it's several months. It's really easy to do. It shows you things like all of your account activity, every update that you've posted, every IP address you've used, all of your searches, all of your most recent logins, all the comments you've made, tons of data, and it's in an Excel spreadsheet, so it doesn't require a lot of analysis. Very, very interesting to see, and also an excellent security feature because you can also see, looking at the IP addresses, if you've been hacked at some point and maybe aren't aware of it. And that's something that, the way hackers are today, that's something we all need to be concerned about. So I definitely suggest everyone come in here and request this archive of your data. And finally, it's very important to export your connections on a regular basis. Very simple. You just go to Connections, to Keep in Touch, click on this little gear icon here, and it's right there, Export LinkedIn Connections. So it's going to send you a spreadsheet as well of all of your first-level connections and any information they have on their profile, contact information, address, phone number, and so forth. And the reason why it's so important to do this is because, God forbid, we can't get into LinkedIn one day for some reason, or just you personally can't get in because of some technical issue. You can't, how would you access all of your connections if something went wrong? It's really important to own your connections and export them on a regular basis. If you're very active, maybe once a month. If you're not that active, you know, maybe once every 3 months, whatever seems most important to you. So I guess
that's amazing.
Yeah,
the most important things. I feel like we have really kind of only just started scratching the surface. I know that there's kind of
that's the thing about LinkedIn. There's so much that you can
bit.
share.
I know. So what I'm going to suggest that we do here is that we wrap it up for now, and that we schedule kind of a part 2 of this discussion for anybody that wants to join in, wants to rejoin us for kind of the second part of this, because I think we've probably got at least another half an hour or something in us.
We certainly do.
So with that being said, I want to thank you so much, Victoria, for taking the time to put this together for us. Do you have any kind of final words before we wrap up?
I think the only thing I wanted to share with everyone, if they'd like to stay in touch with me, I'd certainly love to stay in touch with you. You can find me on LinkedIn, as you've been seeing as we're talking. My website is Learn LinkedIn Fast. And every Thursday I have a hotline where you can come to Join Me, which is a screen sharing tool. And you can just hop on, ask your question, and get out and get back to work if you want to. So if you're working during the day, you're having trouble with a certain aspect of LinkedIn, or it's just driving you nuts in general and you can't figure out how to do something, it's a great little way to get on and get some fast answers.
All right. Well, that's amazing. Well, again, thank you so much. I will reschedule something for after the holidays, possibly kind of first second week of December or so. With that being said, I want to thank everybody for your participation and attendance today. I'm sorry we weren't able to get to some questions. We will follow up with those questions subsequent to this session. As I mentioned before, the slideshow presentation will be made available, as will the recording. I'll be sending around a notification in the next 24 hours with details on how you can access those. With that being said, I want to thank you so much for your attention this afternoon, and have a fabulous rest of your day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Matt. Bye, everyone.